Hi, moms. It's Debbie again.
Hi, moms. It's Barbie.
And today we wanted to come on and talk about self care because we all know as moms, let alone having a son with cancer, we tend to forget about ourselves. And even I notice that as a nurse practitioner, I see that with caregivers not really taking care of themselves. You can get what's called caregiver burnout. So we really need to concentrate on what we can do for self care.
I know for me, I definitely put my priorities and my needs, not even my wants, my needs on the back burner, so I can continue going through the day. And made sure my kids were okay, made sure everybody around me was okay, except for myself. So it was definitely a burner.
Yeah, definitely. And, with everything that goes on with the kids going through what they have to go through on a daily basis, all the doctor's appointments, and then you have to make sure that your husband is taken care of, or in some instances, like in my case, my parents as well. And that was hard to do for me far away at times. And we have to make sure that it's all taken care of. But we still have that wanting to say yes to everybody because
I
we think that we're
agree.
super moms.
I agree. We definitely there's the one that is hardest for us to do, and that's set boundaries. I know for myself, I'm a yes woman. I said yes to everything, whether it's an extra bowl of ice cream for my kids or yes to, go do, cover someone's shift at work. It was always yes, yes, yes. And what I realized that I was doing to myself is people were taking a lot of withdrawals and not enough deposits were going in. I couldn't blame anybody else around me except for myself because you're only in control of your own actions and reactions. So I started saying no, and at first it was really hard, and it still is.
Yes,
Um, but
I
I
agree.
definitely, yeah, I definitely started saying no. And once some time passed and realized that it was okay to say no, and that those people would still love you just as much and care about you just as much, it was okay, and it was kind of a sense of empowerment at that point.
Yes, similar. I think with all of us is that stepping over that line to finally say that I've had enough and I can't do it. I have enough on my plate. And I know for me, because I wanted to care for everybody and I wanted to help everybody. I got to the point where I lost who I was. I didn't know who I was. And
Agreed.
so I had to take a step back and say, okay, who am I helping? Because if I am helping everybody else, but yet I'm burnt out, am I really helping everybody else? Because I'm not fully there with that person. I'm not fully
Correct.
there with my son. So I had to start to set boundaries. And when I actually did, I felt a lot better. And along with their lines is I started to sleep better because we need sleep.
That's the second one that we wanted to talk about today is sleep, and we need to make sure that we do get enough sleep. I know it's so erratic throughout the first few months or first few weeks of a diagnosis because you're sleeping at a hospital or you're from in my example, I would stay the night at the hospital.
Yeah,
I'd get up at 5. My mom would go to the hospital. I'd rush home so I can get my kids ready to school because I didn't want to break up their routine, and make sure I was spending enough time with them. But then throughout the day, I would still have to do the errands and clean the house and do all of that
exactly.
stuff and
Right.
couldn't sleep.
Right.
Um,
Right.
that's when you recover is during your sleep time, physically and mentally and emotionally, or whatever you want to call it. So, making sure that you get that sleep is definitely ideal.
It is because we need that REM sleep. If we don't get that REM sleep, then we are tired. We get chronic fatigue. And that is the worst part because if we have that fatigue, we can't properly take care of everybody in our family. And I know I used to sleep really well until my son got the diagnosis, and I couldn't sleep at night. I was like constantly worrying about, what is he doing in the other room? How sick is he? And I mean, sometimes to this day, it's hard for me to sleep through the night. And it's been 7 years, since
Sure,
he came home.
PTSD.
But, it was just very tough. But we have to kind of try to find time to, when your child is settled, take a nap if you didn't get enough sleep during the day, to make sure
Right.
that you are taking care of yourself, or go and get that massage and sleep through
Yes,
the massage.
yes,
Sometimes
absolutely.
just finally letting go, you just fall asleep during that massage. But it's really,
Absolutely.
really important. And talking about massages and all that stuff, when we get a massage, we need to drink plenty of water. So our body is 80% made up of water. But what happens when you're dehydrated?
You get tired.
You get fatigued, you get tired, you get migraines or headaches. So we need to make sure that we drink lots of water. And I don't know about you, but I'm guilty of that. I'm not drinking enough.
I'm very guilty of that. And it's so hard, to go through a long period of time without even realizing if you drank or eaten or what exactly you're really putting in your body. Because at that point, you just get to the point where you're just so hungry, you just kind of, you know, the vending machines, hospital foods, or whatever it is, or leftover food that your kid left on his plate. But
Absolutely.
honestly, making sure that you're eating a nice I don't want to say healthy because healthy for everybody is a little bit different, but a nice balanced diet. Make sure you're getting your carb, your fat, your protein, and drinking your water. Like for me, I know how many tumblers I need to drink a day, to get my water in, but even getting a gallon of water and marking it on there, 8 a.m., 10 p.m., depending on what time you get up, but just a little friendly reminder. Because if it's something that you've kind of fallen off the wheel on with your eating and your drinking, it's a new habit that you're going to have to create.
And eating properly is key as well. Even if
Yeah.
we didn't eat really healthy before our child's diagnosis, now it's very important, because we all know that during the chemo treatments, our kid has to eat properly. They have to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. So we should really start to do that as well. And eating proper snacks, eating the healthy snacks.
Yes.
My son and I kind of went vegan while we were there, because that's the way that our oncologist was. But I'm not saying that's what everybody needs to do, but that's what really
Right.
helped with us.
No,
So,
it's
but
definitely, yeah, there's definitely different diets that you can do. And I don't want to say diet because really anything you put in your mouth is a diet. It could be a good diet or a bad diet.
right.
But definitely, if you're eating heavily starched foods, that's also going to cause a lot more fatigue. If you're eating nice, healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables and, getting a nice balanced meal in as periodic as possible, your energy levels are going to start going up.
Yeah, that's why we
Um,
used to carry a lunchbox around, because a lot of the
yeah,
hospital foods aren't always the healthiest foods. Even
that's
with St.
correct.
Jude, the food there was your barbecue Memphis foods. So we
Right,
would always bring our own foods in to make sure that we were eating healthy foods. And I would
right.
bring in snacks. So we lived off Lara bars as well sometimes, because those are
Oh,
very natural bars.
those are my favorite.
I
Yeah.
love those. I still eat them today. I found them when I was in
Same,
Memphis, and I eat them today. It's
same.
important. And you
I
know,
agree.
and
And also,
also, something, as we are laughing about some of the things that we're talking about, is doing something fun, laughing, and getting around people that we love, that we can just be ourselves. That's so
yeah,
extremely important to do.
I agree. I agree. I definitely do. I think for the longest time, I had such a big guilt of doing something for myself or doing something that was fun just because I knew my son was in the room, getting sick or, he was getting chemo or anything like that. And I just had that mom guilt of, I can't do it because he's not going to be able to do it and he can't have fun doing it. And, him. And again, it goes back to that self care of, making sure that you are doing something fun and it is okay. It
To
is
go do.
absolutely okay. Obviously, don't take advantage of the situation, but something fun for somebody
Right.
else. It could be going to get your nails done. going and reading a book or sitting at the park or doing something that is enjoyable for yourself.
Like in my
And
case, I was far away from family and friends. So I would go to the craft store and get some crafts and I would go downstairs so my son could be
right,
like, Mom, get away, because he was 17. So he's like, Mom, I need
right,
the space. So I would go downstairs and do some crafts for about an hour or two. And I would constantly text him, You okay? You okay?
right.
But I was doing something fun for myself and he was doing something fun getting away from mom and playing
Yeah,
games
absolutely.
without me breathing down his neck. So the kids need time away from their moms as well. That's something fun for them too.
Absolutely, especially in those teenage years. When they're a little bit younger, I know it's a little bit more difficult, but in those teenage years, I know that my son looked at me one day and he was like, "You gotta go," and I totally get it because trust me, I needed a break as well.
They
But
definitely are like that.
we cried together a lot and we laughed together a lot, which brings me to our next point is laughing. I mean, laughing is, what's the Mary Poppins thing? A little,
Spoonful of sugar makes
yeah, the medicine goes down. And I don't know why I think about that, but it was a part of the movie where they started actually really getting along and laughing and meshing well. And honestly, surrounding yourself by people that do make you laugh
yeah.
is good medicine for you. It's
Laughter
okay
is
to
the best
laugh.
medicine. And you get those
Yeah,
endorphins that kind of make you feel a little more positive with the outlook
absolutely.
of life because of everything that we've going through. We need something that's positive and we need to get away and do something that we're not the mom of a kid with cancer. We're
Right.
Debbie
You
and
don't want to
Barbie
have
going
that
out and
label.
having fun with our friends.
Absolutely.
We're
I
feeling
agree.
normal.
I agree because I think that we all get the stigmata or the stigma of like, oh, she's the mom with a kid that has cancer. And that's what you're known for. So instantly when you meet somebody or you're talking to somebody, you're like, oh, how are you doing? I want to watch Dumb and Dumber. I want to watch something that's going to make me stupid laugh. Like it's just that dumb laugh it really makes no sense whatsoever,
Yep,
but you just want to get it out. And I
exactly.
and I think it brings us to our last one that Debbie had mentioned is surround yourself with safe people.
Yes.
Um, I think a lot of times, that statement, misery loves company. I think that we fall into that very easily because, we feel like we can connect to somebody and we feel that they can understand us and we feel that they know what we're going through. And that's great. You're right. You can absolutely create a bond with them, but you want to make sure that you're not trauma bonding, where you feel like you're caught into that relationship and then, they're constantly kind of down and, not where your headspace needs to be, and making sure that you not necessarily cut those people out of your lives, but set those boundaries where you know that, hey, this kind of conversation is okay. But once it gets to a certain point where you start feeling that you're bringing yourself down, again,
Exactly.
because you're only in charge of your own actions, is to remove yourself from that and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive light.
Positive people, because
Positive,
the one saying that misery loves company, and there will be a lot of women who they want to stay in that space of woe's me. They like that. I'm a mother of a mom with cancer, and they like that attention, and they don't know how to get out of that. And so sometimes
right?
we were put in the place to get them out of that. But if it becomes to where we are falling into that, we need to step out of that situation so we can stay in that positive space with everybody else, because we need to stay positive and we need to go to a safe place to vent and say,
Absolutely.
I need help. I can't take this anymore. I need to talk to somebody. And that's one of the reasons why, Barbie and I have started this. There's
Yeah,
Beauty in the Breakdown, because we know that we needed that safe place. And as
absolutely.
I was going through everything that I was going through, there wasn't that safe space for me. And so it's so, so, so important that when you're having that bad day, that you can get onto this Facebook page and say, hey guys, I'm having a bad day. I just need to vent. And you can. And there's going to be so many of us that'll just cheer you on and help you through that situation, because women together, we are stronger together. Just like it's Women International Day, we
Yes.
are here to support you every step of the way. No matter if you just got the diagnosis, you're in the middle of the diagnosis, or you're 7 years past the diagnosis, you still need that support.
I am totally on the same page as you are, Debbie. I think for a lot of us, it's very hard to find that safe space. And for, I know going through it, it took me a very long time to realize who my safe people were and who were not my safe people. And honestly, mental health for me is a huge thing. And I've come to terms with it that it's okay not to be okay. And I chose to speak to a therapist. If you have a close friend that you can confide in, great. That might work for you. But for me, a therapist helped me and is still helping me to this day. And I'm not ashamed of it. And I think a lot of people have that, like, oh, she's talking to a therapist, she's,
It's a stigma
but
that is not really
yeah,
there anymore.
it's really not. And really, and this all really still ties back into that number one thing that we talked about, and that's setting your boundaries. If you talking to somebody, a therapist, a friend, or laughing over, burnt popcorn or whatever it is, that is
I've done that.
you.
I did that the other day.
I listen, my kids burnt macaroni and cheese. They forgot to put water in the cup. So I can either choose to cry over it, which is very simple to do, or we can laugh about it, problem solve, and move on to the next. Because if you get stuck in that one space that, it's kind of, remember those old movie reels where it came to the end of the movie and it was like, like with the film on it, you could sit and
It'll
stay
stay
there.
all the, yep.
Absolutely. Or you can choose to move on. And I think that, for us, we have that guilt of, if we move on, are we forgetting, or are we pacifying what's really actually happening?
No,
And that's not the case, ladies.
not at all.
I keep hearing it, and people tell me all the time, and I'm so appreciative of all you ladies that,
Yes.
do empower me, because I get messages all the time of, I don't know how you do it. You're Superwoman. And I'm really not. I do it because I know it has to get done. And I love my children to death, and I will do anything for them. But at the end of the day, it took me a long time to realize that self-care is what has gotten me to the space where I know that I'm number one priority. Because if I'm not good, then
And no,
everybody around me that I love is not going to be good either.
it's like, if mama's not happy, nobody else is.
Right. And that's true.
And it's actually, even though we're laughing about it, is exactly the point, is that, it's not selfish to take a day to be selfish. And sometimes it's not selfish to say, hey, honey, I need you to take care of the kids for the weekend because I need to go away with my friends for the weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's sometimes what you need, is to step out of what you've been going through to refresh your soul, to go back into that situation.
Yeah. Whatever your case may be, whether you do have a partner or don't have a partner or whatever it is, like, figure something out of making sure you get that time. Even, for me, for a while, I would go to Target or Publix to do groceries,
And
and
stay there
give
2
myself,
hours.
huh?
And stay there 2 hours just to be.
No, I would give myself 15 minutes in the car. I would turn the music off, I would turn everything off, and I would just sit there for 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Because it was just that time. Because even when I was at Target or whatever, yes, I typically stay there for 2 hours, but I'm still doing groceries. I'm still doing a chore. And it was just that time where I'm like, nope, this time is it's going to be for me. And
Mhm.
you might not have 10 or 15 minutes. You might only start off with 1 minute. And then after a few days, if you do 1 minute, then do 5 minutes and then just increase that time. Because again, ladies, we can't emphasize this enough. We are so important in the role that we play as moms. We
Yes.
are all super moms. We don't wear a cape all the time. I found a meme the other day. I'm not sure if I posted it, that super moms don't wear capes. They wear the same leggings for 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
That's us.
Yes.
You
Very
know,
so.
that's what it is. And we've created this space here because we do want to have that safe space for everybody, including ourselves. I know I reached out to Debbie. I reached out to her today and I was like, hey, and I dropped a huge bomb on her. And she was like super supportive and was like, okay, I got this. Like,
Yes. That's important to have that person, and I've done it
yeah.
to Barbie too. So
No, it's definitely a tag team. And
yes.
you don't even realize what you have in common. I think it's a special bond, a child with cancer and being a mom of a child with cancer. I think it's just a special bond that you build with somebody. And granted, Debbie and I knew each other prior to either one of our sons being diagnosed, but we hit it off the bat because we're cool. Um, but all kidding aside, we're here. And if it's not myself or Debbie, it might be somebody else in this group. And I think that we're all just a little scared to make that comment on the page. But don't be, because I'm telling you, this is something that we've been working on for a very long time. And the number one priority that we wanted to make sure this page had was a safe place.
Absolutely. So we
So
love it, when we put, so how is everyone's day? We would love to hear, how is your day going? Whether it's
yeah,
a
good,
good day
bad, or
or a
indifferent.
bad day or an indifferent, we would just, even if it's just one day, it's great. Or I'm having a hard time. It's a start that we can start to interact with
Yeah.
each other. So
And trust me, we totally get it. Like, you guys will do this at your own time. It took Debbie 7 years to realize that this is something that she wanted to do. It took me 2.5 years to realize this is something that we wanted to do. And it's hard. It's very hard to step out of that vulnerable spot and say, hey, I'm not having a good day today. Or, hey, today's a very good day, because guess what? In the back of our heads, we're always thinking, but what is tomorrow going to bring?
right.
But we face that when we get there. So yeah, make a comment. Please reach out if there is something that you guys want us to talk about next time, or um, you know, or you want to talk to of us in private. Um, Send us a private message, and one
Absolutely.
of us will reach out to you.
We're more
Um,
than happy to give out our phone number. Not
yeah,
a problem.
absolutely. Absolutely. We're actually getting some cards made. I dropped the ball on that a little bit, but we'll get some cards made. And we'll be handing them out. I'll leave them in the Kids Cancer Foundation office, so you guys can have that and have our personal information on there as well. So make a comment. We hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have something that you want us to talk about next time, please put it in the comments below. We would love to hear from you guys, because this is what we're here for.
Yes. And hope you have a wonderful day, and take care.